HVAC. So I just wanted to cover something a little bit basic with these portable units as it's getting into the cooling season coming up. My unit here is actually a heat pump as well. However, we will be only covering the cooling in this video. So I just kind of want to go over the overview of what you need to check, the temperature split that you can expect from one of these, and basically some common problems with these units that you can get. They're very inefficient depending on what kind of house you have. Now, I'm in an older house. I got a return vent right down there. I taped up because it kind of made it cool under my desk and in the heating season. But basically, your house cannot be completely airtight because these things will suck the air out of your house if you're not careful. So if you have to, what I would suggest is either to crack the bottom window just a smidge, like that, but that's a little bit too much, but just enough to where there's like you can just fit your fingers underneath there, and that will allow some air in, but that's, again, very inefficient. I wrapped my exhaust hose in some insulation, and it goes all the way down into the bottom there. So with this unit, I converted it to where this control panel on top doesn't work. This control panel doesn't work at all whatsoever. That's because I ripped out the internals, put a few contactors and stuff, and now I got a wall thermostat for it. If you guys want me to do a video on that, I will explain and go through the process of how I did that with this. But anyway, this thermostat requires 24 volts, which goes through here, and then I got the control going through here, and I got it wired up. This is a heat pump thermostat, as I got a heat pump. Otherwise, you can use a straight AC thermostat. You also could use a straight AC and electric heat thermostat if you wanted to, for the for one of these heat pumps. But otherwise, you can just use a basic cool and heat thermostat. This is a Mercury one. I just kind of have it for show. I'm not going to hang it on my wall. There's no reason to. So with this, you can go ahead and either test the temperature with the. This is just a fridge stat that I'll use. Sometimes I use. But I just throw it in here, and like I let it run for a while, and then I pull it out and check it. However, for this video, I'm going to use this temperature reader, this multi amp clamp voltage and temperature reader. So right now it's about 75 in here, give or take. That's about what the thermostat says. It says it's 74. That thermostat is a little off, which I can go into the settings and change that. So for this unit here, it pretty much applies for every single one. So let's go ahead and get into it. So for filters. Filters is something you definitely need to keep an eye on. So if I go ahead and prop this guy up, prop my phone up so you can get some light down there. So if you go down in here, you got your one filter, which this is your evaporator filter. As you can see, I got it's like part of a dandelion in here, which doesn't surprise me because I actually opened this window once, and because I wanted fresh air in here and it was really hot, so I closed my curtains around here, so any air this thing was sucking in, it was sucking in from outside, and somehow that dandelion got through, or that seed, I guess it is, got through my window. But anyway, there's a lot of dog hair in here. It's thin, but you can't really see it. I gotta clean out this filter at some point soon, which I'll do. All you do to clean these things out is run some warm water, dry them out, and put them back in. Do not just make sure they're dry before you reinsert it, because any little water probably can get down in there. It's not that big of a deal on this unit in particular, but I wouldn't advise doing it on this unit either, or any unit, because it can possibly get down in electronics and mess them up. But anyway, so this is that. Then that is not the only filter there is. There is another filter down here that I'm pulling out here, which is the filter for the condenser itself. This one here is actually relatively clean because I just cleaned it out whenever I took it apart to just kind of inspect it and make sure it's running good. Well, make sure the coil's clean down there. And then down in there, let me go ahead and get you a visual of what it looks like down in there. As you guys can see, that is what it looks like down in there. So you got your reversing valve up here, but that's because I got a heat pump, otherwise you probably won't have one. You have the condensing coil right down in here, and then this is the compressor. I actually took it apart and wrapped it in a compressor wrap to make it a little bit more quiet. Then above this, you got the lacquer covered coil, which that is actually rather good for these units. It helps this coil not deteriorate. And then by the side of it, you got the exhaust port from the unit itself. And then this is drain number 1 for your evaporator. However, this unit allows you to keep that one closed, and it allows it to drain down into the drain pan down below under the compressor, and then you can bring it out through the tube. Let me go ahead and show you where that comes out at from the bottom. So at the bottom, down here, the camera focus if it wants to today. So down below here, you got the condensate, which goes into that bucket, which I put there. You can run this anywhere you want, as long as you don't, like into a drain or something. Just don't run it on your floor, because this does release a lot of condensation. And then I just put a pump in that box, so every so often I check it, and then I plug in the pump. It pumps it up. You can kind of see the tube there. It runs behind here, and then it runs up to right there, and then it shoots outside. So yeah, I'm gonna go and reinstall these filters, and then we can get on with making sure it works and testing correctly. So to test one of these, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and grab a meter here, temperature meter, and we are gonna go ahead and I'm gonna hook it up on my mic here. Good location so I can go ahead and easily view it. It may be a little dark, so I can get you guys a little bit of light here. And so yeah, there's that. Let's go ahead and run this little temperature probe. And I like to put it about center of this thing. Just kind of like lay it in there. And then, so it says it's 77, which with my PC I am not surprised. So let's go ahead and flip it in the cool mode. So it's set to 74. I'll crank it down until it continues to run. So 72. So now it just kicked in. This is starting to get really cold. That's what I like about this unit. This unit is a 410A unit. I think it's about a little under a ton, this unit. And it cools my entire room relatively quickly. So that's about the intake, which that's about what the thermostat says. The thermostat says it's a little bit hotter. But let's go ahead and see here. That's probably because I'm standing right in front of it and it's kind of blowing it back. So we'll keep that temperature in mind. So let's go ahead and lock that in. And I'm going to take this probe. And what's nice about this unit is it has a little bit of a redirect, so I can kind of wrap it around there and bring this guy up, so it's just in the airstream itself, like that, so it's not touching anything. It's right in the center of this airstream here, and then up here. So right now we're already, it hasn't even been running that long, we're already at over a 20-degree split. These units kick butt, but they're inefficient, just the simple fact that it's sucking outside air. And with this thing sucking air in through here and then blowing it out here for the condenser, there are some units that have an outside in and then an exhaust out, so it's not sucking any air in from this room as a whole. So let's see here, starting to go up to a 30-degree split. It's down to 74, which I don't generally count the first degree, so let's go ahead and let that go. So yeah, just be wary whenever you're running these things. Make sure that you don't have something like this getting sucked up against the back of the coil, because it could freeze up that coil, and you don't want that thing freezing up. And you also got to be wary of that condenser down there. If that thing gets this hooked up into it, that head pressure will skyrocket. Same thing in the heating mode. So right now it's running. It's doing quite well. It's hovering about a 25-degree split. That's really not that bad. Just to give you an idea of what the temperature output is. It's about a 45-degree air, give or take. So yeah, it's running pretty well. So I'm gonna go ahead and shut this guy off, since it's like 40 something outside right now. I'm gonna go on. I'm gonna go ahead and pull it back over. Your unit won't make that noise, the swishing sound. It shouldn't make that noise. Unless you got a heat pump. If it makes that noise, you got a problem with your unit. I guess that's kind of given anyway. So I'm gonna let that thing cool off. Flip that over. I also got this thermostat from work. Whenever we replaced the system, I got that from work. Really nice thermostat. So anyway, when that cools off, so some problems you may have with these units. One, just troubleshooting. It doesn't cool very well. And there's several reasons. One, it may not be turned down all the enough, or one of the thermistors on it, or the temperature sensor on it may be bad. That doesn't apply for me because I got a physical thermostat up there. Another thing is these might be plugged. Your exhaust may be plugged. It could be a series of things. So if we go over here and look at this, so the 75 there, I didn't have it running long enough for it to catch you up with temperature, but that's about the exhaust temperature that was coming out of here. It's currently like 53 out actually, now that I actually look over there. So yeah, these are perfectly fine. You can use these. These are just less responsive. Like this generally got up to the temperature right away, but these alcohol thermostats, these are alcohol, not mercury. Mercury ones are silver, not red. And you can just store it in here and it'd be fine. Just keep an eye on it if you're using it for heating, because the heat can get up here. Because actually earlier I was checking my heat with this thing and it was already up to 120 degrees on that, and this thing never reached that because I was impatient. So yeah, otherwise that's pretty much it. If you guys have any questions about your unit, if you're having problems with it, just drop a comment. I can try to solve it from over messaging. Yeah, so that's basically this unit. This is a ton, a little under a ton unit, a little oversized, but it gets the job done. So yeah, these units work great, just very inefficient. They're great for temporary, but this one's permanent in my room because my computer is an absolute heat maker. If I don't have this thing on in the summer, it's easily 85 in my room with that beast running. And then in the winter, it barely runs. Like that 75 was just from me running the computer. So anyway, thank you guys all for watching, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. and I'll see ya.